Hi everybody, and thanks for joining us for this week's Totally Challenging Challenge. Our goal with the Totally Challenging series is to inspire and motivate you to take on some small organization tasks somewhere that's going on somewhere in your life. It might be your home, your garage, the kitchen, your desk, the office, maybe your car, maybe your kid's backpack. I don't know what'll pop up on this series. But the goal is to challenge you to tackle that one little task, something that's going to take you only between 10 and 30 minutes, but you're going to feel a great sense of accomplishment that you've got something done. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to take out your weekend to-do list, and at the very top of your weekend to-do list, I want you to write this down. Totally Challenging Challenge. Get it done, whatever you're going to write. Because these things are so simple, I know you're going to get them all done, but there's an amazing sense of accomplishment when you write something on your list and then you check it off or you cross it off. Life is so busy and so hectic that you absolutely need to take advantage of being able to cross anything off your list and feel like you've accomplished something. So be sure and add that to your list. I know it sounds kind of silly, doesn't it? But even me, I'm a big walker, right? I try to walk every day. Every day I put it on my list. It's not a big surprise that I'm going to get it done. But of all the things on my list that I don't get done, the more things I can cross off and say that I did get done, the better I feel, which means the more motivated and inspired I am to get up the next day and do things all over again. So take advantage of it whenever you can. So put this on your list, the Totally Challenging Challenge. This week's Totally Challenging Challenge is your junk drawer, ladies and gentlemen, who's ever out there watching. The junk drawer. Ugh. It's a blessing and a curse, isn't it? It's somewhere to throw everything and find nothing. Sometimes we find stuff in there, but generally it just becomes a hodgepodge of things. So our goal this week is to eliminate, I said it, eliminate your junk drawer. So the very first thing I want you to do is whatever junk drawer you're going to sort, and that could be in your kitchen, you might have one in your desk, you might have a junk drawer even in the bathroom or down in the garage. Whatever junk drawer you're going to tackle, I want you to take a picture of that junk drawer first because you want to post it on Facebook and show everybody what you've accomplished. So first thing, take a picture of your junk drawer. Next thing, get ready to clean it out. So you're going to need a couple of things to clean out your junk drawer. Some kind of space to spread out the things that are in your junk drawer so you know where to take them back to. You're probably definitely going to need a garbage can. Now, if you have kids around the house, especially smaller kids, they're going to really love to help with this because the thing about the junk drawer is almost everything in your junk drawer belongs somewhere else. So let's take a look about what I rounded up in my junk drawer. First thing, this is a Canon BCI 10 ink cartridge. It is probably a decade old, right? But it's been moving around and keeps ending up places where I'm never going to use it. I don't even have the printer that goes with this. So where does that go? Into the garbage can. Okay? There is an expiration date on ink cartridges also, so I don't know if you know that or not, but I don't know if they get bad or whatever, but I do know this is a printer that doesn't exist in my life anymore, so there's no real point to it. This is an empty package for a 16 gigabyte chip for my camera. I know how it got into the junk drawer. It got into the junk drawer because in the junk drawer is my box of camera chips. Now, what's going to happen when I go out with my camera in my little camera bag to take a picture somewhere outside of my house when I don't have the chips because they're in the junk drawer? So we know this goes in the garbage, and we also know that this is going to find a home somewhere else, my camera bag. So I'm going to start that pile right there for that area of the house where the camera bag is. I've got a card full of rope. This isn't cooking twine. This is some kind of jute rope. I don't know. I don't even know where it came from. But it definitely belongs in the garage, not in the junk drawer. Here's another printer cartridge. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I just bought 2 more of these at Office Depot because I thought for sure that I had one. But down around the printer in my office, there were none. So I assumed I don't have any. So this goes back to that lesson that we've learned in other videos or other lectures or whatever. Keep things together you would use together. So keep your printer cartridges obviously close by your printer. Now another thing about this that's really important about finding things is telling yourself where you're putting things. And I know that sounds kind of silly, right? Like I don't have to tell myself I'm putting this in the drawer in my desk. I'm just going to put it there. But the chances of me finding it improve dramatically when I tell myself, and especially if I tell myself verbally. So if you don't mind looking like a crazy woman in your house when you're putting things away, just say to yourself, the cartridge for my printer is in the back of the top desk drawer and then put it in there, the chances that your brain is going to spiderweb around and connect to hearing you say that are huge. You're going to find things so much faster. So it's kind of a system for your head when you put things away. Here is a check register from 2004. This account isn't even open anymore. Bye-bye. Calculator. I don't need this for any reason in the kitchen. As a matter of fact, since the advent of smartphones, I haven't used a calculator other than the one on my phone in I don't even know how long. So I'm tempted to just throw this little calculator away, but I think I'm going to ask my kids if they have a use for it before I do that. Phase 10, playing cards. Love this game, but I'm not going to find these cards in the junk drawer because when I go to play cards, I'm going to look for the cards in the card box in the game cupboard. So these maybe came back from a camping trip or something and made it into the junk drawer, but never made it back to the game cupboard. This is the kind of thing that if you have smaller children that'll help you sort, you could call in a runner and say, okay, runner, take that back, and you can make it kind of fun for them. And in the process, you're teaching them better habits as well about putting things away and keeping things where they go. So call in your runner if you've got one on that. What is this? This is a phone cord, right? The basic plug your phone into the wall phone cord. Let me confess to you something. I don't even have a phone in my house that uses a phone cord. No, not at all. I have a cell phone. My kids have a cell phone. They're teenagers, of course. So this, garbage. Now, you might also start some sort of little donation box or something, so if it bothers you to throw those kind of things away, you might have a donation box for Goodwill for stuff that you're going to put into your bigger donation box for Goodwill. But truthfully, don't let yourself get burdened thinking about things in that realm. So when you look at this, this is a perfectly good thing. So a lot of us, our brains say, you can't throw that away, that's a perfectly good thing. Somebody would find it useful, right? But what it's doing for you is cluttering up your life. It's making it harder to find the things that you actually need wherever they are, and it's not something you're ever going to use. So really try hard to get rid of stuff that's unimportant to you. So one of the quotes I heard recently from Seth Godin was, in the process of moving ahead, the hardest decision is choosing what to leave behind. And so sometimes we get bogged down in the things we should leave behind, and they prevent us from moving ahead. So take on the little stuff like this, because then when you have to get rid of something big, you'll have great confidence about it. You're going to throw that away, you're never going to think about it again. Next time you need to get rid of something major, you'll be like, oh, I can get rid of stuff, no problem. Okay, what else do I have in here? I have a couple of kinds of batteries, right? Batteries go in a junk drawer, that's where batteries go. I'm going to put these down right here, and I'm going to put them back in my junk drawer. Oh, another word search game. This belongs in the car, actually. This goes in the, in the kids' doors of the car. So I'm going to call in a runner, and I'm going to send him to the garage to put that back where it belongs in the car, where it'll actually get used. Two items that belong in my craft room, photo cleaning cloth and my basic gray file. So those are going to go in the return to craft room pile, along with my little hole puncher here. I don't know how those things migrated up here. They have a life of their own. Sewing stuff. Right? Little D-rings. I'm sure I bought these to repair a kid's backpack or something. I'm never going to find them again if I'm looking for them in the junk drawer because I have a sewing box. So again, call in a runner, send them to the sewing box. Wooden sea turtle. Oh, there's a note on the bottom. It's a Christmas tree ornament from my sister. She brought it back from Guam in December, and it never made it into our Christmas ornament box, so it's been living in the junk drawer, right? So I'm going to, again, this is going to go back to the garage. I'm going to put it in my garage pile over here, along with a few other things that belong in the garage. A couple of screwdrivers, a paintbrush, a box cutter, and some funky kind of pliers. That's the other thing. Did you just witness that come flying out of the junk drawer? That's the other thing about a junk drawer. It gets frustrating when you go to pull something out and it catches on all these other things, and most of the things don't even belong there. So now I've got a whole pile of things that belong in the garage. In that pile is one screwdriver, one little tiny screwdriver, right? It's not just one, there was two screwdrivers in there, but this screwdriver is the screwdriver I use to change the batteries in my thermostat. How often do you think I need that? Once every 3 years, maybe? So if you're keeping things like this around to be used once every 3 years, but really When you need a small screwdriver, you're sending somebody to the garage to look for a small screwdriver and then not finding the small screwdriver because it's in the junk drawer. So put it back where you're most likely to use it, unless it's something you're using constantly. But let me just define for you, once every 3 years is not a constant use of that screwdriver. So that's what's going back. Oh, what is this? Grocery list, right? Why is a grocery list in my junk drawer? I have no idea, but I know where it belongs, in the garbage. Then there are a bunch of little random office supplies in here. And among those random office supplies are a bunch of pens and pencils and a big rubber band. So here's a rule, ladies, gentlemen, whoever's watching. You're not allowed to take that rubber band, bundle up those pencils and pens and put them back in the junk drawer. That's not where they belong, right? Pencils and pens belong somewhere where you use them to do writing tasks. And I'm going to tell you right now, some of these belong in my craft room, and my suspicion is that some little person, borrowed it out of my craft room and then it just never made it back there. So what's the rule with pencils and pens in your junk drawers? There's 2 rules. The first rule is they don't belong there, so you have to find a home for them. The second rule is that you have to test all of them. So if you pull this pen out here from Disneyland, again, this says 2004 on it, and you go to test it out on a piece of paper, doesn't work, totally dried up, it goes in the garbage. So test everything before you put it away. You don't want to move it somewhere just to dig through it again. I've got a pencil here, broken at the top, no eraser. Let me tell you something, I don't even keep pencils without erasers because I make a lot of mistakes, and it's frustrating to me, another one, to go to erase something that I wrote and not have any eraser on the end of it. So bye-bye, that's going away. So, oh, here's another scrapbook pen that's going to go in my scrapbook area. Here's a Slurpee straw. Why is this in my junk drawer? Who kept this Slurpee straw? Hopefully it wasn't me. Do you see what I'm saying? There's a lot of things that are just going right into the garbage bin. So now I've just got a few things left here. Oh, this is a colored pencil. It belongs in my scrapbook room again. I've just got a few things left here. Now, you need a pen in the kitchen, right? Maybe 2 pens in the kitchen because you're constantly writing things down. Shopping lists, recipes, that kind of stuff. So my suggestion to you is to get something small and easy to control so that you don't end up with hundreds of pens in the kitchen in a drawer. So what I use, I should have brought it in with me today, it's a little metal basket. It's about 4 inches long by maybe an inch and a half wide and about this tall, and it sticks on the side of the refrigerator and has 3 little compartments in it. One of them is big enough for a notepad or scratch paper or something so I can make shopping lists on it. And then one little section is big enough for 2 pens, and one little section holds a pair of scissors. So it's all I really need in the kitchen, right? If I'm going to write a note for my kids to go to school, if I'm going to do a shopping list, if I'm going to mark something on the calendar, it's all right there. I've got a pair of scissors in there for cutting packaging open or whatever else I might need that for, but I'm not overwhelmed and I'm not digging through things, and more importantly, I'm not pulling out pens and pencils that are broken or don't write or whatever and getting frustrated and then throwing them back in the junk drawer. So get yourself something small and containable that's really useful, and that's really the key. Make it useful. I'll take a picture of the one that's on my refrigerator and I'll post it up on the Facebook page so y'all can see what I'm talking about. But it's really simple. Okay, in here, look at this cute little notebook. I love little notebooks. I'm passionate about little notebooks, but they totally overrun my life. However, with that said, this little notebook I know will fit perfectly right into that little small thing that's on the side of my refrigerator. So I'm going to keep that. You're going to see this in the picture. I'm going to put it in my back pocket and take it home with me, actually. And you'll see it in the picture of my little thing on the refrigerator today. What else is in here? Thank you notes. They don't actually belong in here either. So these need to go back down on my desk. What is this? This is 2 refrigerator magnets. What are they doing in the junk drawer? Nothing. They're sucking up little screws and nails, I guess, that don't belong in the junk drawer either. But they need to go back on the refrigerator. I don't know why they're in there as well. Here's a charger for a cell phone that I don't even own the phone anymore, right? Why do we keep these things? Because they're perfectly good and it's hard to throw them away. But let me tell you, there are far more chargers out there in the world than there are actual cell phones. So if nobody in your home needs that charger anymore, I'm going to recommend that you throw it away. Let me tell you a little story about cell phone chargers. As most of you know, I go to a lot of trade shows, so I'm on the road a lot. And it's happened to me 2 different times that I forgot my cell phone charger when I left home. Both situations, I went down to the desk at the hotel and got exactly the same response. I asked the clerk at the desk, do you happen to have, showed him my phone, do you happen to have a charger that, that will fit this phone that I could borrow? Both times they pulled out this giant box of all of these chargers, found several that will fit my phone, handed it across the desk to me. And then I said to them, should I just leave it in my room when I'm done, when I leave, or should I bring it back? And they said, please take it with you. We literally have every day people leave their chargers here. No one ever calls back to claim them or whatever. So, two good things for you to know. One is that you can borrow a cell phone charger usually at the hotel that you're at. The second thing is, if you have a hard time getting rid of things like the cell phone chargers, take them with you the next time you travel and leave them in a hotel room, and then somebody like me will be really happy that it was left behind and I have a cell phone charger to use. Okay, what else have we got in here? We've got 2 binder clips. Binder clips, they don't belong in the kitchen, right? They belong on your desk. Well, for me, actually, binder clips do belong in the kitchen because I use binder clips to hold chip bags closed, or to hold the flour bag closed, or to clip around the broccoli bag and put it in the refrigerator or anything like that. So these actually do belong in the kitchen, except that I always keep the binder clips that I use next to the little drawer by the refrigerator. So these are just in the wrong place. So those are going to go back where they belong. Now, what's roaming around in the bottom here? An old brass screw. I have no idea what it goes to, so it's going right in the garbage. And then I've got 3 keys, 3 random keys, right? A key ring and another key ring. Well, isn't this my lucky day? I can put all of these keys on this ring and put this ring on this ring, and then I'll have all of this stuff that I don't need and I don't know what the keys go to, all in one little bundle of stuff to move around my house. What? No. I don't know what the keys go to. If I have children, I'm going to summon the children and give them the keys. There's only one lock in my house that this quick set might possibly fit in, and I'm going to send them downstairs to check the locks and see if they work. In this situation, I know these don't work. These are left over from my old house. So I know exactly that both the keychain, the key ring, and the keys can all go in the garbage, right? I didn't even know these things existed. So there's no reason to keep them, right? If you need a new keychain, voila, now you've got one. But otherwise, don't keep all this little tiny stuff that you can't find when you actually need it anyway. Put it all in the garbage where it belongs and just move on with your life. And now, one thing is left in my junk drawer. It's a big rubber band, right? So, as I mentioned before, you're not allowed to wrap the big rubber bands around your pens and pencils and throw them back in the drawer. So I know some of you are thinking, if I wrap that around my pens and pencils, they'll be all neat and they'll be in the drawer. But they'll be a pain in the neck to get to because you'll have to unwrap it to take things out. So you're not allowed to do that. I already said that. You're not allowed to do that. But what do I do with big rubber bands in the kitchen? With big rubber bands in the kitchen, I do a couple of things. One, I use big rubber bands around chip bags also. You know, you roll down the chip bag and put that around a chip bag to hold it closed. So if I can't find one of these, a binder clip, because somebody put them in the wrong place, then I might be able to use that big rubber band. But what I really like big rubber bands for is opening jars. So usually they're with the binder clips in the drawer next to my refrigerator. And then if you have like a big jam jar or something, or like a pasta sauce jar or something that's bigger, you can put that rubber band around the jar and then it gives you an extra grip to open it. So I do keep a few big rubber bands around in the kitchen, and they're always just these big wide ones. And there's always 2 or 3 of them, but they're always in a place where I know where they are. So now look at my junk drawer. Empty, right? Oh, but wait, I forgot about my batteries. My batteries are going to go in my junk drawer. Now I don't have a junk drawer anymore. Now I have a battery drawer. I know what's in it and I know where to find it. And I can say to my kids, hey, those are in the battery drawer. So, what will you do with your empty space? Do you need a whole drawer for batteries? I mean, truthfully, I don't need a whole drawer for batteries, right? I actually have my batteries in a small little square Tupperware dish in the towel drawer. But my kids know where the batteries are, and when I go to Costco, I can open that drawer and see. My kids, like most boys, use a ton of AA batteries. I don't know what they do with them. Maybe they eat them. But AA's and AAA's, so I know where to look to see how many batteries we have and if I need batteries because they're in that battery container. So, oh my goodness, what will you do with an empty drawer in your home? What could you put in there? You could just put your batteries, I guess. So, next thing you're going to do now is you're going to take a picture of your empty drawer. You're going to take a picture of your piles of stuff that's going back. And then you're going to just focus on a couple of items, maybe your Phase 10 cards, and show them put away. These have a home, and show them put away in your in your game cupboard or your game box or whatever, and post them up on Facebook. And why do we need to do that? Because we need to celebrate our successes, and we need to say, hey, look what I did today, so that our friends on Facebook, who are really wonderful in our Facebook group, can say, congratulations, you did a great job. So inspire other people and motivate other people, and I hope you'll really take heart in this challenge and come up with, show me an empty junk drawer picture by the end of the weekend. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoy this first totally challenging 10-minute challenge. And I look forward to telling you next week about our next challenge. Have a good week.